Listen to me right now. You're standing at the edge of something extraordinary, something that terrifies you, something that makes your heart race and your palms sweat. You're looking at this mountain in front of you, this impossible dream, this audacious goal, and you're thinking to yourself, I don't know how to do this. And you know what? That's exactly where you need to be. Because the greatest achievements in human history, the most profound transformations, the most incredible victories, didn't come from people who had it all figured out. They came from people who said 5 simple words. I don't know how, but I will. You see, there's something powerful about admitting you don't have all the answers. There's something liberating about standing in the face of uncertainty and declaring your intention anyway. Because when you say, I don't know how, but I will, you're not making a statement about your current knowledge or your present capabilities. You're making a declaration about your future, about your determination, about your refusal to let the unknown stop you from pursuing what sets your soul on fire. Right now, in this very moment, there are millions of people who know exactly how to do something, but they'll never do it. They have the knowledge, they have the roadmap, they have the instructions, but they lack the one thing that matters most, the will to begin. And then there's you. You might not have the blueprint, you might not have the experience, you might not even know where to start, but you have something far more valuable. You have the audacity to believe that you can figure it out. You have the courage to step into the unknown. You have the determination to learn as you go, to adapt as you grow, to become the person who can achieve what seems impossible right now. Think about every person who ever did something that changed the world. Do you think they knew how they were going to do it when they started? Do you think the Wright brothers had a complete understanding of aerodynamics when they decided humans should fly? Do you think Steve Jobs knew exactly how he was going to create a computer revolution from his garage? Do you think J.K. Rowling knew how she was going to become one of the world's most successful authors when she was a single mother writing in coffee shops? No, they didn't know how. But they knew they would. And that made all the difference. The path reveals itself to those who walk it. The answers come to those who keep asking questions. The way forward becomes clear to those who refuse to turn back. You don't need to see the entire staircase to take the first step. You just need to take the first step, and then the next one will appear. And then the next one. And then the next one. That's how extraordinary things happen. Not through perfect planning, but through persistent action. Not through complete knowledge, but through continuous learning. Not through having all the answers, but through having the courage to seek them out. Right now, your mind is probably flooding you with reasons why you can't do this. It's telling you about all the obstacles, all the challenges, all the reasons why this won't work. That voice in your head is listing every person who's more qualified than you, every resource you don't have, every skill you haven't mastered yet. And I want you to acknowledge those thoughts. Don't push them away. Don't pretend they're not there. But don't let them control you either. Because yes, there will be obstacles. Yes, there will be challenges. Yes, there will be moments when you question everything. But here's what that voice isn't telling you. It isn't telling you about your capacity to learn, your ability to adapt, your power to grow. It isn't reminding you of all the times you've overcome something difficult before. It isn't showing you the strength you've built from every challenge you've already faced. You have overcome 100% of your worst days. You have survived 100% of the things you thought would break you. You have figured out 100% of the problems you thought were unsolvable. So why would this be any different? The only difference is the scale, and the scale doesn't change your capability. It only changes the arena in which you prove it. When you say, I don't know how, but I will, you're activating something powerful within yourself. You're shifting from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. You're moving from limitation to possibility. You're transforming from a spectator into a creator. You're declaring that your current limitations are not your final destination. You're announcing that your present knowledge is not the ceiling of your potential. You're proclaiming that your today is not the definition of your tomorrow. And that shift, that simple shift in perspective, changes everything. Because once you commit to figuring it out, your brain starts working differently. It starts seeing opportunities instead of obstacles. It starts recognizing resources instead of limitations. It starts finding ways instead of making excuses. Your reticular activating system, that part of your brain that filters information, suddenly starts highlighting everything that can help you. The mentor appears. The book finds you. The opportunity presents itself. The connection is made, not because of magic, but because you're now looking for solutions instead of focusing on problems. Let me tell you something about successful people that nobody talks about. They don't succeed because they always know what to do. They succeed because they're comfortable not knowing what to do. They've made peace with uncertainty. They've embraced the discomfort of being a beginner. They've accepted that confusion is part of the process, not a sign that they should quit. They understand that I don't know is not a permanent state. It's a temporary condition that changes through action, through learning, through trying, through failing, through adjusting, through trying again. You know what separates someone who achieves their dreams from someone who doesn't? It's not talent. Talent is overrated. It's not resources. Resources can be found. It's not connections. Connections can be built. It's not luck. Luck favors the persistent. The difference is this. The person who achieves their dreams is willing to be uncomfortable for longer. They're willing to not know for longer. They're willing to figure it out for longer. They're willing to keep going when everyone else stops. Because most people quit right at the moment when they would have broken through. Most people give up right before the transformation happens. Most people turn back right when they're about to discover the path forward. They let the discomfort of not knowing convince them that they're not capable. They let the challenge of learning something new convince them that they're not meant to do this. They let the temporary confusion convince them that they should quit. But you're not most people. You're reading this right now because something inside you knows you're capable of more. Something inside you is ready to step into the unknown. Something inside you is saying, I don't know how, but I will. And that's the voice you need to listen to. That's the voice that will guide you through the darkness. That's the voice that will keep you moving when logic tells you to stop. Let's talk about the practical side of this. How do you actually move forward when you don't know how? How do you turn I don't know how, but I will from a statement into a reality? First, you start with research. You find people who have done what you want to do. You read their books. You listen to their interviews. You study their paths. Not to copy them exactly, because your path will be unique to you, but to learn from their principles, their strategies, their mindsets. You gather information like your life depends on it, because in a way, the life you want to live does depend on it. Second, you find mentors. You reach out to people who are where you want to be. You ask questions. You seek guidance. You're humble enough to admit you need help and confident enough to believe you're worth helping. And here's something beautiful about mentors. They were once where you are. They once said, I don't know how, but I will. And they figured it out. And most of them are willing to help others figure it out too, because they remember how important help was on their journey. Third, you take action. Imperfect action. Messy action. Uncertain action. But action nonetheless. Because knowledge without action is just information. It's action that transforms information into wisdom. It's doing that transforms learning into mastery. It's trying that transforms possibility into reality. You start before you're ready. You begin before you're confident. You move before you're certain. Because you understand that readiness comes from doing, not from preparing to do. Fourth, you embrace failure as feedback. You reframe every setback as a setup for a comeback. You see every mistake as a lesson. You view every wrong turn as valuable information about which direction to go next. Thomas Edison didn't fail 10,000 times before inventing the light bulb. He found 10,000 ways that didn't work. Each one brought him closer to the one way that would. Your failures aren't evidence that you can't do this. They're evidence that you're trying, that you're learning, that you're getting closer. Fifth, you build resilience. You develop the mental toughness to keep going when it's hard. You cultivate the emotional strength to handle rejection, criticism, doubt, and setbacks. You create habits and routines that support your goal. You surround yourself with people who believe in you, who encourage you, who remind you of your vision when you can't see it clearly yourself. You protect your energy from negativity, from doubt, from people who want to pull,